Hello, my friend, and welcome back. My name is Anne, and today I want to talk a little bit about the beginnings of a spiritual awakening. People awaken or begin their spiritual awakening journey in a lot of different ways, and sometimes it's like instant. People can have a near-death experience or go through something instantly traumatic that kind of instantly awakens them. They'll describe feeling a connected feeling, or they will describe being in an accident or something and feeling an overwhelming sense of joy, which is like very contradictory to what they're going through at the current moment. And that is, the awakening happening pretty much instantly. That joy comes from knowing that the spirit never dies, and knowing that this world is an illusion, and that we create our own reality, and that we're here to learn and evolve and grow. Like, that feeling kind of just ignites in them instantly. And I've heard people describe that sometimes they'll have like a Kundalini awakening, where suddenly they will feel this rush of energy from the base of their spine go all the way up to the crown of their head. Now, for me personally, the beginning of my awakening was nothing like that. It was very gradual for me. It didn't happen overnight. I would say that I was awakening probably for years before I realized what was going on. And a little bit about my awakening. I grew up Catholic. My family is very, I guess, what you would consider maybe devout Catholics. Very, I went to church every Sunday. I went to Catholic school for a few years. Everything like that. And when I was about, I want to say like 18 or 19 was when they made a movie about it. I forget what the movie's called, but it was basically about the priest scandal in the Catholic Church about the child molestation and how much the church was covering it up. And it was the movie like where the Boston Globe like uncovers it. And so that is a real story. And when that happened, I heard about it. That was the first little like tick of that maybe things aren't as they seem. Before that, I obviously was aware of other religions and other things like that. However, I was very much in the Catholic religion. Very much. That was my world. That was my truth at the time. And to have something so shattering like that come to light really made me stop and think that just a little bit, maybe everything that I had believed before wasn't exactly the way that God intended it. Was the main feeling. Was more, not so more like, it wasn't like, everything's a lie, this is awful. It wasn't exactly like that. It was just like, if this aspect can exist inside a institution that I have poured my heart and soul into for 18, 19 years, what else is going on? That was the main thing. It was what else is going on. It wasn't exactly condemning the church, and it wasn't like, you're awful, although it was an awful thing. I just think that it was like one aspect of something not great going on inside the church, and covering it up is, basically for money is not okay. And, victimizing children is never okay. So through that, it just gave me like a little bit of awareness. And it wasn't like, from then on, I like everything started to click and it started to fall in place. It really didn't. It took a while for me. So that was like the first little like, things might not be the way you think they are. And then I came into, of course, like I saw The Secret, and I made a friend that was very into positive energy and just having a positive outlook. And I was always like a naturally like optimistic, positive person, but meeting her and, like we used to work together. So like taking like crappy situations and just making them better by our attitude and everything. That was like another little brick on, my spiritual awakening, because, sometimes it's layered. For me, it was like layered. And so that was another layer for me. And then I would say like maybe, I don't know, like it wasn't until my early 30s, maybe I was about 30, that I guess I started to get into conspiracy theories, and I think that conspiracy theories are a great tool for awakening, like a tool that you don't know is a tool to awaken you, because it is another aspect of things aren't the way they seem, like this could possibly be going on. And the issue that I had, and the issue that I have with conspiracy theories, is that when you get too much into them and you're going down that rabbit hole of, and then you're fearful and you're angry, and it's bringing up all of these negative emotions, you are essentially feeding the dark. If you believe that dark forces are behind these conspiracy theories and behind a lot of things that go on in our world, and you have to understand that they feed off of your negative emotion. Those energies feed, they want you to be fearful. They want you to be angry. And so when I was into conspiracy theories, like I also had this like positive attitude, and I am naturally a solutions-based person. It like didn't make sense for me. I was like, what's the solution then? What, like all of these grand, like hundreds and thousands of years of dark energies coordinating all of this stuff. Like, okay, like, well, what do we do now? I'm not going to give you my anger. I'm not going to give you my fear, because that's what you want. And that's not going to happen. Luckily I was aware of that almost right away. And through that rabbit hole and going down, I realized that love was the solution, that there was nothing that love couldn't fix, and that there was no darkness that light couldn't light up. There was no darkness that couldn't be brought into the light. And that essentially that is what, maybe on the surface, that's not what the dark energies want, but like that's what they need. They want to be brought into the light, because no one wants to live in the dark. So, and I would say once I made that connection, that love was the answer, that love was the solution, that was really when my spiritual awakening started to take off. So, as you can see, it was very, very different for me, as I'm sure it's very, very different from everyone else. Like, let's not forget, we are all individuals. And so our journey is very much individualized. So your awakening is very much individualized. So if you hear someone talking about like, oh yeah, and then I had this experience, and then I was awakened, and I just lived my life totally different from that point on. And if you're hearing that, and then you're like, well, that's not how it happened for me, or that's not how it's happening for me, don't worry. You are perfect. Your journey is perfect. Your spiritual awakening journey is unfolding exactly the way that it should be. Because the one thing that people say when they have a crash awakening is, and like what they say to people that might want that or might encourage that, they say not to encourage it unless you're completely ready. Sometimes life, sometimes the divine decides that you're completely ready and bam, smacks you with it. But sometimes it needs to unfold because there are different aspects of yourself that need to be ready in different ways. So you need to be emotionally ready for these changes. You need to be physically ready for these changes. And now if you are, say you're at the beginning of your awakening journey and you'd like to maybe accelerate it a little bit, I think that, feeding yourself spiritual content that you resonate with is so, so important, but it is most important to look within. And it is most important to look at yourself and look at your life and say, because we are mind, body, and soul. We are all one. So when you want to accelerate your awakening, you need to be tending to all three aspects of yourself. So take a look at your diet, take a look at your exercise, your movement. And I'm not saying go, I don't know, join a CrossFit gym and go crazy, but, start to implement some movement into your day. Start to implement maybe a few more vegetables, maybe something healthier into your diet. And also start to manage your stress. I can't say this enough. Life is stressful, and for us to be stressed is a natural state, but for us to stay stressed is not a natural state. So learning to manage your stress is paramount. If you are doing something, if you are working a job that is stressing you out, or a stressful job, and during the day, I would highly advise that you move after work. And you might be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. If you have a long commute after work, try to get the exercise in before you make that commute. Try to get it in as soon as you get done. But like I talked about before, that movement takes that stress of the day and it dissipates it through your whole body, increasing the surface area, making it lighter for you to carry and for you to manage. So when you're moving your body after doing something stressful, it might not even be a job, or whenever you're feeling stress, movement is a wonderful tool to help manage that stress. Meditation is another tool to help manage stress. Breath work is another tool. So you want to be very, very conscious. I would even say over diet and over spiritual content, that managing stress is probably number one, just because of the world that we are living in today. So, and I say that over spiritual content as well, because all of the spiritual knowledge that you need comes from inside of you, ultimately. You just have to kind of clear that path for it to come through. And managing your stress, managing your emotions is a way to help clear that path. So that is the message for today, my friend. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from it. If you did and you would love to subscribe to my channel, I would love to have you. And if you wanted to give this video a little thumbs up, I would love that as well. My name is Anne from Modern Alignment. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.